Good evening, baseball fans, and it is another night of baseball. So I thought tonight it would be fun to do let's do the all-time Baltimore Orioles and the all-time Boston Red Sox. So I know that RGO Network is broadcasting right now, and Jester and what have you, but I'm gonna do some baseball anyhow. So let's go, let's go, let's go. All right. So for the visiting Boston Red Sox, and again the AI taking care of both lineups. Leading off for the Boston Red Sox, the visiting Red Sox in center field, Tris Speaker batting second and shortstop, Nomar Garciaparra batting third and left field, Ted Williams batting cleanup at first base, Big Papi, David Ortiz batting fifth in right field, Jim Rice batting sixth and DHing, Carl Yastrzemski batting seventh at second base, Dustin Pedroia batting eighth and catching, Pudge Carlton Fisk batting ninth, playing third base, Jimmy Collins, and taking the mound for the Boston Red Sox, Tim Wakefield. And for the hometown Baltimore Orioles / St. Louis Browns, leading off, designated hitter George Sisler batting second, at second base Brian Roberts. Batting third and left field, somebody that we don't see a lot out in the creator community, but a great slugger from the 1920s, Ken Williams. Batting fourth, right fielder, the Judge, Frank Robinson. Batting fifth at first base, Eddie Murray. Batting sixth at the hot corner, as you might expect, Brooks Robinson. Batting seventh in center field, the great Paul Blair. Batting eighth at shortstop, Mark Bellinger. Batting ninth and catching, Rick Dempsey. And taking the mound for the Orioles / Browns, Mike Mussina. So let's get to the ballpark, to Camden Yards. And here we are. I hope you guys will enjoy, and hopefully some people will be joining in later. All right, so Mussina finishing his warm-up pitches, but let's check the weather at game time, Baltimore. So clear sky, chilly 49 degrees, the wind going out to left at 9 miles per hour here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. And hopefully we zoom out a little bit, and you'll get to see the nice view of that old railroad warehouse out there beyond right field. If that isn't a stroke from heaven, I don't know what is. So let's get underway here. And there's Steve Tate coming in. Steve Tate, who gonna have his grandkids over and doing some PS5. I think that is really cool. So Steve, I know you can't hang around very much, but good to see you. And I'm about to pull the trigger on PS5 too. So hopefully down the line, once we get the Howie Shanks League going, we're gonna compel Steve to try the 5-year files. All right. Anyhow, Tris Speaker to lead it off. Just kidding, Steve. Just kidding. All right. So Speaker is 2 for 8 on the young season. Again, I'm playing this out as a season and visiting different teams. Going to be concentrating on the Pirates, but so these two rosters look good though, Baltimore and Boston. So probably won't do a lot of tweaking there. Mussina ready to deal. Nice little pan around here and out of the park, 24, and there's where almost got hit by a Rafael Palmeiro home run one time, where you can stand out there in right field. Here's the wind and the delivery from Mussina to Tris Speaker, and Tris Speaker grounds this one to short, and up with it is Mark Belanger. The quick throw to retire the speedy Speaker. 1 down in the inning, and here's Nomar Garciaparra, and it's too bad that the game doesn't simulate his every at pitch, adjust the batting gloves, and all the other sort of Kabbalistic arcane things that Garciaparra did. So Mussina ready to deal. Here's the pitch. Garciaparra swings on the first pitch, fly ball, center field, and this will get down in front of Paul Blair for a base hit. And I think what we're going to do is switch the action up. This is such a pretty ballpark that for the action view, anyhow, we're going to go to, I think it's the wide camera. Hopefully that's it. And here's the splendid splinter, Ted Williams in the third position. 1 away. And not sure what happened to Garcia Parra here, but he's on first. I think he's hidden by this widget over here. Mussina deals. Williams swings, and this one a fly ball to center field, and this is going to get down in front of Paul Blair. So 2 hits by the Boston Red Sox with 1 out. And what a great looking ballpark, and something that would be really nice to use also in Action PC. This is one of the ballparks that comes with Out of the Park 24. All right, here's Big Papi, David Ortiz, having an excellent start to the season. He is 2 for 6 with a home run, 2 runs batted in, hitting .333. 2 on for the Red Sox. Here is the wind and the delivery. Ortiz swings, and this one hit maybe in the gap, and this one gets down in front of Paul Blair. And Big Papi, here's the throw to the plate, not even close. Coming in to score is Nomar Garcia Parra. David Ortiz picking up the RBI single. And you know what? I kind of like this full view of the ballpark, and I think we're gonna leave it. We're gonna set it all up like that because I think it looks just such a beautiful ballpark. Such a beautiful ballpark. All right, so Ted Williams at second, Ortiz at first for Jim Rice. Jim Rice off to a 2 for 7 start, 286 average for Jim Rice, one of my favorite Red Sox players. Mike Mussina winds and fires. Here's the 1-0 to Jim Rice. Rice swings on this one, line to center field, and this one gets down in front. So consecutive base hits by the Boston Red Sox. And the Red Sox have him loaded, only 1 down. So Mussina in some early trouble here, baseball fans. So this area over here, if you see my mouse, if you go to Camden Yards, you can watch the game from out there. And almost got killed. It was pretty amazing by a Rafael Palmeiro home run. You don't realize those line drive homers get real big real fast. Carl Yastrzemski, the designated hitter, batting with the bases loaded. And for Yastrzemski, he is 2 for 8 on the season, a home run, 4 runs batted in. No place to put him. Bases juiced with Scarlet Hose. Here's the 3-2. Yastrzemski cuts and misses. Big, big pitch there. Fastball by Mike Mussina for the 2nd out. Night beginning to fall here in Baltimore in the Inner Harbor as Petey Dustin Pedroia steps in the left hand or the right hand side of the box for these Red Sox. He is 2 for 8. 1-0 Boston lead here in the top of the first. Mussina deals to Pedroia, and Pedroia sends this first pitch to center field, and once again this is a base hit down in front of Paul Blair, and that is going to be an RBI single by Dustin Pedroia as Williams scores, and it's 2-0 Boston. So Mussina looking for that 3rd out, and it's just not happening. Ortiz at 3rd, Rice at 2nd, and Dustin Pedroia at 1st for Pudge. So Fisk just 1 for 8 on the early season. Mike Mussina has struck out 1, touched up for 2 runs and 5 hits here in the top of the first. I think this is going to be a slugfest, though. Fisk swings, fly ball to centers this, and going back on it, and this one caroms off the wall. Blair has it. 2 runs in, 3 runs in. So 3 RBI. Scoring is Ortiz and Rice, and Pedroia will cross the plate. And stand-up double for Fisk, and that's 3 RBI, and it's now 5-0 Boston in the top of the first. How many quality parks like Camden come with the game? All 30. All 30. They all look beautiful. Played a game last night, Steve, at PNC. It's beautiful. They have really upped the game, so to speak, this year in Out of the Park 24. I don't know if they did some retexturing on these fields or what, but they look absolutely brilliant. And to grab them for Action PC Baseball, when you're editing a team, just go to Edit Ballpark, load 3D model, and you got it without the players. And unlike Action PC Baseball, you don't have to set up everything as long as you have a PRK file loaded. And I did do a tutorial on that, I think a couple weeks ago. But all these parks, I think, look fantastic. And then when you get the Stadium mod, Steve, you have everything from 1901 to present as well. Yeah, the historic ones, unfortunately, I mean, they look better this year, but they're done on Google SketchUp. What Out of the Park 24 needs to do is work more on their ballpark creator, because the ballparks look really good in that. Unfortunately, they didn't put any work into it this year. Still very basic. But yeah, I do wish the historic ones look this good, but the historic ones don't look bad this year. I think they look a little better. But I know Mike Silva doing great work. I think they just need some retexturing, to be honest with you. All right, so still 2 out, and Fisk with the big hit here in the top of the first. And should Jimmy Collins get on, the Red Sox will have batted around. Trespeaker waits on deck. There's Aaron Reed. Good evening, Aaron. Mike Mussina deals to Jimmy Collins. Jimmy swings in the first pitch, and this one in the power alley to right field. And Fisk is going to score, and Jimmy Collins heading into second, and he will pull up with an RBI double, and the onslaught continues here. We are just in the top of the first. And it's 6-0 Boston, and they have batted around, and we're back at the top of the order with Trespeaker. Speaker nothing for one. Collins in scoring position. Mussina in serious trouble here. The 2-2 pitch. And this one should get him out of the inning. Grounded to short. And Bellinger ups with it and makes the play to first, and that's it. But the Boston Red Sox just absolutely coming out of the rip. Scoring 6 runs here in the top of the first on 7 hits. 1 left. So it's Boston 6 and Baltimore coming to bat. Tim Wakefield is going to really try to make sure this floater is working, facing an equally tough Baltimore Orioles, St. Louis Browns lineup. Leading off here, George Sisler. We're going to see Ken Williams batting third, and we don't see Ken Williams a lot. Great slugger from the 1920s, and I'd mentioned in a broadcast that Steve Tate earlier did along with MV that the 1920s, there's some fantastic players. And so those of you maybe catching it later when we get in the Twin Bill, more people are coming up. Please consider joining the Reboot Howie Shanks League. It's going to be fun. Draft coming up. Next Tuesday evening, we should be able to get the draft done in one night. All right, around the horn and back again, says Aaron Reed. All right, so gorgeous George Sisler, 2 for 9 in the season, hitting .222. Tim Wakefield, again, that knuckleball's got to work for him. This is a powerful Baltimore St. Louis lineup. Wakefield with the 0-2 delivery to George Sisler, and Sisler cuts and misses. So Wakefield coming with a rare fastball. 1 away for second baseman Brian Roberts. A slow start for him, just 1 for 7. Here's Wakefield's 2-2 to Brian Roberts. Roberts cuts and misses. That one, the floater working nicely for Wakefield as the ball goes around the horn. So 2 up, 2 down, and here is Ken Williams. Ken Williams, excellent contact hitter and good power. Really the linchpin of the 1922 St. Louis Browns, finishing just 1 game behind the New York Yankees that year. Wakefield deals the 1-1 pitch to Ken Williams. The lefty swings, and this one smacked into left, base hit. So Baltimore picks up its first hit of the game here in the bottom of the first. Williams aboard, and he can steal the occasional base, by the way. And here's a big bat, Frank Robinson. Robinson is 5 for 8 on the season, hitting .625. He has yet to homer. Wakefield deals the 2-1, and this one a little grounder to short, and taking it to the bag himself is Nomar Garcia-Pera to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We go to the top of the second, the Boston Red Sox 6 and the Baltimore Orioles nothing. And as Aaron Reed says, the Baseball for Windows, APA Baseball for Windows, has gotten him through a tough, tough day. Very glad to hear that, Aaron. I'm glad you're enjoying it. All right, so here's Nomar Garcia-Pera. He is 1 for 1 in this game. And remember, the Red Sox batted around in the first, plating 6 on 7 hits. Mike Mussina has struck out a batter. Here's the wind in the 2-2 pitch. Garcia-Pera swings. This one line to right, but nice play by Frank Robinson. So 1 up, 1 down. We'll see if Mussina can settle down, as the Baltimore Orioles, St. Louis Browns have a lot of work to do. Ted Williams 1 for 1. Mussina with a 3-0 delivery to the splendid Splinter. Williams takes inside for ball 4. So Mussina definitely having some problems here. That's his first walk. Mussina just getting touched up. It's not like he's missing the strike zone. It's just that Boston's seeing him so well. Big Poppy 1 for 1 has a run batted in. Williams at first, no speed. Mussina with the 2-2 delivery to Ortiz. Had an RBI single, and Ortiz, big cut and a miss that time. Went after a bad pitch, expanding the strike zone for Mussina. So 2 away, Ted Williams at first for Jim Rice. Jim Rice has a hit in this game. Mussina with the 2-0 to Jim Rice. Cut on. This one, high fly ball to center field, ranging over to his right, and making the catch is Paul Blair. Side retired, no runs, a walk for the Boston Red Sox, 1 left on. Score remains 6-0 Boston as we move to the bottom of the second inning. Steve Tate says Action PC's having a great sale this weekend. Using the code PLAYOFF gives you 20% off everything. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your dog. She is across the Rainbow Bridge. Very sorry to hear that, Ryan. Or Aaron. What am I saying, Ryan? Aaron. Also have the complete 1990s decade on special for $27, less than $3 per season. So Aaron, there, I'm sure you know about the great poem about the Rainbow Bridge, and I hope at some point, just remember, my friend, I know now is not the time. You got to give yourself time for mourning, but just remember, down the line, there's a lot of beautiful dogs waiting in shelters and waiting, waiting to be loved. And I think that's a great way to honor our fur babies, is when our mourning is through, is to adopt another. So I hope you do at some point. In my religion, we do believe that animals have spirits, and that someday, and not for a long time, when you get to heaven, your dogs, your cats, whatever, they'll all be waiting for you. And that's one of the things I love about Eastern Orthodoxy, is that we do believe that. I think we're the only Christian faith that believes that, actually. All right, Tim Wakefield with 2 strikeouts will start against Eddie Murray, Brooks Robinson, and Paul Blair. Murray just 1 for 6. So this Orioles lineup cold, and again, we're just very early in this season. Tim Wakefield with the 1-2, and Murray, a little number to first, and taking this one unassisted is Big Poppy. So the knuckler seems to be working for Tim Wakefield. 1 up, 1 down for the great Brooks Robinson, the hot corner man. 2 for 7, 286. Wakefield peers in and has the sign for Pudge. Here's the pitch. Brooks Robinson swings a little flare to center field, and this one's going to get down for a base hit. So Baltimore picking up its second base hit. Robinson at first, not a lot of speed. And here's Paul Blair. Paul Blair is 2 for 5 with a run batted in. Paul Blair, a premier center fielder, but badly beamed. umpire Ron Luciano, may his memory be eternal, talks about that beating. I believe in The Umpire Strikes Back. He wrote 2 books. And Luciano was a professional F-ball player, and he said he'd seen broken legs, everything like that. But then he became a Major League Baseball umpire, and he said the most sickening thing he ever saw was the day that Paul Blair got beamed. And Blair really wasn't the same after that. Could have been a Hall of Famer. So 1 away, Brooks Robinson at first, and here's the delivery, the 3-1. And this one inside. So Paul Blair heads to first, and a knuckler missing. 2 on, and maybe this could be the start of something for Baltimore as Mark Bellinger steps in. I know some people pronounce it Belanger. I'm going to go with Bellinger. And he has yet to get ahead. He is 0 for 3 on the season. Brooks Robinson at second. Paul Blair at first. Good crowd here at Camden Yards, by the way, as Tim Wakefield brings the 2-2. And Belanger hits a base hit into right field, and they're going to flash the stop sign. So Pedroia trying to get to that ball, but gets under the webbing. And Jim Rice with a strong throw in. Robinson is at third, Paul Blair at second, and Mark Belanger at first for catcher Rick Dempsey. Very cold bat, an 0 for 6 start. A chance for him right here. Not a great contact hitter, and certainly not any power from Dempsey to speak of. George Sisler waits on deck, 1 down, bases juiced. Here is Wakefield's delivery, and little fly ball into right field, and played perfectly. Jim Rice has it, and the throw home will not be in time. And Baltimore picks up a run. It is now 6-1. Runners at the corners. Blair at third, Bellinger at first, 2 away, 6-1 Boston lead. George Sisler, 0 for 1. Wakefield from the stretch. Sisler swings, hard ground ball to third, and Collins has it. He will go to second, and that retires the side. But the Orioles do get a run, and we go to the top of the 3rd inning. Boston 6, Baltimore 1. All dogs go to heaven. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So, guys, and you can't segue from it. So, guys, check out dksports.com. Baseball sale coming up this weekend. 20% off everything. And I know most people in this community who love 1990s baseball. You're getting the entire decade for $27. And there's D. Scott Howard. All right, here's the captain, Carl Yastrzemski. Yastrzemski not part of today's hit parade by the Boston Red Sox. He is 0 for 1. Mussina, 2 strikeouts and a walk through 2. Mussina's 1-2 pitch to Yaz. Yaz cuts and misses. So nice sinker by Mussina to get Yastrzemski, and that is strikeout number 3 for Mussina. And here is Petey. Pedroia is 1 for 1 with a run batted in. Mussina has the sign from Rick Dempsey. RBI single last time up. Pedroia swings this one, a little grounder to third. Should be no problem for Mr. Brooks Robinson, and indeed plenty of time to nail Petey for the 2nd out. Fisk, big hit in this game. A 3 RBI double back in that crazy top of the 1st for the Boston Red Sox. Here's the delivery. Fisk swings in the first pitch, and this one a weak grounder to short, and Fisk will make first as Bellinger charges in on the ball, scoops it up, but holds on to it, not wanting to risk rushing his throw. So Boston with 1 on, 2 out for Jimmy Collins. Collins 1 for 1 with a run batted in. And Mussina is done. Dick Hall will come on in relief here in the 3rd to soak up some innings. So for Hall, a good control pitcher, average movement, finishing his warm-up pitches. 2 away. Here's the pitch. And Jimmy Collins lofts this one to right, and ranging in and squeezing the leather on it is Frank Robinson. So inning over, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, a man left. And we go to the home half of the 3rd inning. It's the Red Sox 6 and the Orioles 1. PQ Ribber. Everybody offering condolences to Aaron. And I'm glad that Ernie and Baseball for Windows helped you through a very, very, very tough day. And it's going to hurt for a little while, my friend. It's going to hurt. It is like losing a child, like losing a family member. And I always say animals have no agendas, and they only break our hearts once, and they don't mean to. So, my thoughts and prayers, and just know that your doggy is in paradise. I know that's not great comfort for right now, but all dogs indeed go to heaven. And cats. I think cats have a sort of special place in heaven, though, but an interesting place. Anyhow, Brian Roberts, nothing for 1. Tim Wakefield deals the 1-0 to Roberts. Struck out last time, popped high on the infield here at Camden. And calling for it and making the easy catch is Jimmy Collins. So 1 up, 1 down for slugger Ken Williams. Williams 1 for 1. Wakefield deals. Here's the 2-2 to Ken Williams. Williams swings on this, and high fly ball to center field, moving to his right, and making the catch is the Gray Eagle, Tris Speaker. So 2 away for Baltimore, and here is Frank Robinson. These Baltimore fans would love to see Robinson crank one out of here. Tim Wakefield, the knuckleball work and touched up for a run, but only 3 hits. So enjoying a 5-run lead right now in the bottom of the 3rd. Wakefield deals the 0-2 to Robinson. Grounded to short last time and lined over the head of first baseman, and on into second is Frank Robinson. So Rice getting the ball back in. Big Poppy trying to make the leap, but that one gets down into the corner. So Frank Robinson with a 2-out double, and here's Eddie Murray. Another hitter that Baltimore wants to start heating up, and it would be good for him right now. Swing of the bat, and this monstrous 6-1 lead is cut in half. Wakefield that time, that curveball hanging a little, and Robinson able to get good contact. Here's the delivery, the 1-1. Eddie Murray swings. This is going to be ground to first, and Big Poppy will take it 3 unassisted. So Baltimore, no runs, 1 hit, no errors. They strand 1. The score remains Boston 6, Baltimore 1 as we head to the visitors' half of the 4th. And the Red Sox will send out the top 3 batters in their order. Tris Speaker, Nomar Garciaparra, and Ted Williams. Speaker, nothing for 2. Dick Hall on relief. Musina getting rocked back in the 1st and unable to really just find any sort of rhythm. Hall deals the 2-2 delivery to the Gray Eagle. Speaker cuts and misses. Nice pitch there. Curveball by Dick Hall to get the great Tris Speaker, who is tough to strike out. So 1 away for shortstop Nomar Garciaparra, who has adjusted his batting gloves at least 5 times and his batting helmet 4 as I've introduced him. By the way, for those who are curious, you know, in Action PC you can do walk-up music. You could do the same thing in out-of-the-park baseball as well. So, all right, Garciaparra batting with nobody on, 1 out. Dick Hall winds and fires the 1-2 to the Boston shortstop. And Garciaparra tried to hold up, and the appeal to first, and the ump says he went around. So Dick Hall with his 2nd strikeout, pitching better than Mike Musina thus far. He's going to try to go for Ted Williams here and sit these Boston Red Sox down in order. The Splendid Splinter, 1 for 1. Hall with the 2-2 delivery to Ted Williams. Swung on, and this one lined to the power alley and right for extra bases. Williams tearing around first. That ball caroming off the right field wall, and Williams in there ahead of the tag. And that's a 2-out double for Boston. So the Red Sox picking up hit number 9. The slaughter may be continuing. The big bat, a big poppy. He is 1 for 2 with an RBI in this game. And again, a great start to the season, 375. A home run, 3 runs batted in, including today's run batted in. The lefty waits for the Dick Hall delivery. Full count on Ortiz. Ortiz swings, and this one deep to center field, and you can kiss. No, you can't. Leaping grab. Oh, what a great play in center field by Paul Blair. Let's have a look at that one again. I thought that was gone, gone, gone. Here we go with a little replay. And this one, this was a rocket. Blair back on it, and okay, a little shorter of the track than I realized. Great play by Paul Blair. With this perspective, a little bit harder. I thought that one was gone or a leaping catch, but great play nonetheless. 2 great center fielders in this game today, Tris Speaker and Paul Blair. Brooks Robinson, Paul Blair, and Mark Belanger will lead it off here, the number 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Baltimore Orioles here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Brooksy is 1 for 1. Tim Wakefield, 2 strikeouts and a walk. Robinson singled his last time up, and this time lays off. This one high and outside, ball 4. So the knuckleball, an unpredictable pitch, and Robinson at first for Paul Blair. Walked his last time up, swinging the first pitch, sinking liner to right. This will get down for a base hit. So Baltimore picking up its 5th base knock in this game. 2 on, nobody out, and it sets the table for Mark Belanger to see what he can do. Belanger 1 for 1. Brooks Robinson at second, Paul Blair at first. Carlton Fisk setting the sign for Wakefield. Here's the wind and the 0-2 to Belanger. Belanger cuts and misses. Big, big pitch there by Tim Wakefield, dropping the hammer, and a slow hammer at that, 67 miles per hour. So 1 away, and here's Rick Dempsey. Orioles would love to get him on and get Sisler, good place hitter. Sisler having that slow start, however. But very, very powerful Baltimore team. Expect them to heat up. Tim Wakefield, the 1-1 delivery to Rick Dempsey, who flied out his last time up. Dempsey, a little shot to first, and they're going to go to second for the lead runner. So Robinson will move to third, and Dempsey aboard, fielder's choice. Runners at the corners, 2 away, and here is George Sisler. 0 for 2. Wakefield sets and delivers the 0-2. Sisler swings, weak ground ball to second, and up with it is Dustin Pedroia on to David Ortiz to retire the side. So the Orioles leave 2 more, and we go to the top of the 5th. The Red Sox 6 and the Orioles 1. MV says greetings, Beatles. And greetings all. There he is, Pib 99 in here. Telling Aaron he knows, been there, knows how difficult it is, the passing of an animal companion, a fur baby. He's playing APA right now, Pittsburgh at Montreal, 1986. Well, Pittsburgh sucked in 1986, so yikes, there we go. So MV, how are you, lads? Fancy a bit more draft ideas, do you? Lovely to see you, mate. All right, here is Jim Rice to lead it off, the number 5, 6, and 7 hitters. So the controversy about Candy Cummings, it's not really about Cummings. So Cummings was recognized as the inventor of the curveball. However, Um, there has been a little controversy that maybe it wasn't Cummings, and Big Clue brought up a nice little point in Steve Tate's broadcast. Jim Creighton not in the Hall of Fame and credited with the invention of the most used pitch in baseball, the fastball. And from everything I've read, that 19th century pitcher definitely had some zip. Got to remember, for a time in the 19th century, pitchers were not allowed, they had to pretty much pitch kind of underhanded. Some would cheat and do kind of that subway delivery that we call it now. But once the overhand delivery was allowed, that's when you started seeing fastballs, which is why 1870s baseball is always a little tricky to try to mix into leagues like we're doing with Howie Shanks. And in fact, 1870s baseball is not in action PC baseball. It is in out of the park, however. But I would hate to try to draft from the 1970s or the 1870s. Wow. All right, Dick Hall has struck out 2. He's ready to deal to Jim Rice. Here's the 2-0. Rice cuts on this one, lofted to left, and running over and making a nice catch is Ted Williams. Williams not exactly known, that was Ken Williams, I'm sorry. So Ken Williams, excellent. I wanted to talk about Ted Williams as an outfielder, but we'll get there when we get there. So Williams out there is a left fielder, a 61 range. I like the 1-100, and an 81 for an arm, and a slugger. One of baseball's forgotten players. All right, here's Yaz, nothing for 2. Not part of this Boston onslaught. Dick Hall delivers. The 1-2 pitch, and this one, a ground ball to second, played on a hop, and no, it's so short hopped actually. So Brian Roberts, they're going to score that one, an infield hit. How about that? So played it on the short hop. I guess just enough spin on that ball, if you will. Enough of West Virginia on that ball. They're MV, they're in honor of you. And Yaz aboard. That is hit number 10 for the Boston Red Sox. And here is Pedroia. He is 1 for 2 with a run batted in. Dick Hall checks Yastrzemski at first. 3-0. And this one lofted to left, going back on it, and settling under it is Paul Blair. So 2 away, Yastrzemski remains at first, and here's Carlton Fisk, and Dick Hall's day is done. So coming in to pitch the southpaw, Tippy Martinez. Good movement, average control, average stuff. Lefty finishing his warm-up pitches. 2 away, here's Fisk. The pitch by Martinez, and Fisk sends this high fly ball to center field. Camping under it, coming in a little bit, is Paul Blair making a nice grab. So it looked like the wind was playing with that one a little bit. So nothing on 1 hit for the Red Sox. They leave 1, and we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. The score remains 6-1. Brian Roberts, Ken Williams, and Frank Robinson due up for the Orioles/Browns. Tim Wakefield with 3 strikeouts, 2 walks through 4, enjoying a 6-1 lead, has scattered 5 hits through 4 innings. Wakefield mixing it up, that knuckler with a curve and an occasional fastball. But really it's been the knuckler and the curve working for Wakefield in the game, as you would expect. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Brian Roberts. Roberts not catching up with that one, and the floater gets him for strike 3. Wakefield picking up K number 4, and it brings up Ken Williams, who is 1 for 2. Wakefield peers in, has the sign, and here is the pitch to Williams. Ken Williams, and launches that one to left field, but that liner right down into the glove of Ted Williams. So Ted Williams pretty much not a great outfielder, wasn't a bad outfielder, but Williams was more about hitting, and it was said that Williams would sometimes sort of get a little ADD out there and kind of practice his batting swing while out playing defense. So, but certainly a well-deserved, great hitter. Probably, arguably, I don't know. If you look at Williams, certainly more power. He lost years to both the Second World War and the Korean War. But when you talk about pure hitters, certainly Ted Williams, and got to add Tony Gwynn into the mix, I think, as well. Gwynn not the same power as Ted Williams, certainly. All right, but that is just the opinion of your humble broadcaster as the judge steps in. Frank Robinson is 1 for 2. Wakefield's 0-1 delivery to Frank. Doubled his last time up. This one line to left, going toward the line and making the catch is Ted Williams. So side retired, and we go to the top of the 6th. It is still 6-1. Jimmy Collins, Tris Speaker, and Nomar Garciaparra. So Jimmy Collins 1 for 2 with an RBI. Tippy Martinez will stay in. He's worked 1/3 of an inning in relief. Jimmy Collins waits for the delivery from Martinez, and Jimmy swings. Weak grounder to short. Should be no problem for Mark Belanger. And the quick throw on to Eddie Murray and the 6-3 putout. So 1 away, and 2 pretty good shortstops also in this game, Belanger and Garciaparra. Got to give the nod to Belanger, of course. All right, here is Tris Speaker. He is nothing for 3. So not at all part of this Boston onslaught either. Tippy Martinez with the 0-2 delivery to the Gray Eagle. Speaker struck out last time, and this one, little pop fly in the infield, calling for it at short is Mark Belanger, and he has it for the 2nd out of the inning. So all of Boston's scoring coming off Mike Mussina back in the top of the 1st, and it's been all zeros since then. Baltimore picked up a run in the 2nd, and it's been goose eggs there as well. 2 away for Nomar Garciaparra, who is 1 for 3. Southpaw Martinez checks in with Rick Dempsey. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Garciaparra swings high fly ball out to right center, ranging back on it, and this one is out of here. Paul Blair just looking up and watching it go. Garciaparra touching them all. That one 421 feet, and the Red Sox now adding insult to injury. It is 7-1. Let's look at that Garciaparra shot once again. And that one is just gone. Let's look back in at our weather and see. Indeed, so the wind is blowing out to left at 9 miles per hour, but it looked like that ball might have had a little help. All right, here is Ted Williams now batting with 2 down and a run in for Boston. Williams, a perfect 2 for 2 at the dish today. Martinez delivers to the splendid Splinter. Here is the 2-2. Williams doubled his last time up, and this one a little flare into left and right into the glove of Ken Williams. So Williams flies out to Williams. Boston adding a run, and we go to the bottom of the 6th. Rather bleak night for these Baltimore Orioles fans. It's now 7-1 in favor of the Red Sox. Yeah, Camden looks beautiful here. How about it, right? Great looking ballpark. Out of the park 24. Hands down, this is the best version of this fine game. Actually, I think the weakest version was last year's version, out of the park 23. Didn't really play it that much. Plan to play the living crap out of this one, though. All right, so Tim Wakefield, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks through 5. And he will face Eddie Murray, Brooks Robinson, and Paul Blair. The number 5, 6, 7 hitters for the Orioles. Coming up, we'll do our twin bill, be something in action PC baseball. Don't know what. Maybe we'll do a little exhibition game with Steve Tate's 5-year franchise files, as we haven't seen those well. There's Bernard Strom, Sports Replays. Says, hi, everyone. Go Sox. And guys, make sure to subscribe to Bernard's channel. Bernard, my work has been crazy, but I will be catching your broadcast, my friend. I've just got to get through a tough 6-day stretch here. Yeah, 23 was a little buggy. In fact, one of the things when 23, if you wanted to do a season replay, there was this strange message that would come up, and there was no way that you had a player either had to be released or put on waivers or what have you, and it would say, you know, go to whatever screen to take care of this. You would do it, and you'd be faced with your entire roster. It didn't tell you what the player was, anything. There were some workarounds for it in Allen Park 23. One of them just being setting up a fictional league but with real teams and then putting all the teams in from that season. But not ideal. That is fixed. I've started up 4 different leagues just to see if it works from spring training and all of that. And apparently Marcus and Matt and company have addressed that rather nasty bug. Lots of nice little touches in the animations this year too, as well as just looking great. Improvements on the historical engine as well, so not just a pretty face here. Tim Wakefield delivers now to Eddie Murray. Here's the 2-2 cut on, and this one could get down into left, and indeed it does. So it gets down in front of Ted Williams out there in left field, and Eddie Murray aboard for Brooks Robinson. Brooksy 1 for 1. Nobody out, runner on first. The 1-1, and there goes Eddie Murray, the throw down and the tag, and Eddie Murphy picks up the steal. That's his first of the season. Eddie Murray will steal the occasional base. So the Orioles now with a runner in scoring position trying to get a crooked number in the runs column. Robinson back in. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Brooks Robinson, weak grounder to second, so they do stay out of the double play. But up with his Pedroia on to Ortiz for the 4-3 putout. Eddie Murray will move to third, 1 down. And here is Paul Blair. Blair is 1 for 1 against Wakefield. Full count now to Paul Blair, and Blair lays off and takes the walk. So the knuckleball missing, floating in there just a little bit high. And the Orioles now with runners at the corners for shortstop Mark Berlanger. 1 for 2. Wakefield working from the stretch, the 1-1. And the runner goes, and up with it and gunning is Carlson Fisk. And how about that? Paul Blair picking up a steal. So the Orioles trying to bring a running game here in the late middle innings. 2 in scoring position, 1 down. Belanger back in the box now. And the 2-2 to Belanger. Belanger cuts and misses. So Tim Wakefield bringing that knuckleball to dispatch the Baltimore shortstop. It's up to Rick Dempsey to try to get something going here for Boston, or for Baltimore, I should say. I'm sorry. He is 0 for 1 with a run batted in. Tim Wakefield has fanned 5, walked 3. Full count. Dempsey lays off. This one outside, ball 4. And again, that knuckleball, unpredictable. So Wakefield, 5 strikeouts, 4 walks. Tim Wakefield, a rather painful story of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Wakefield had, Wakefield did pretty well for the Bucs, and then kind of fell off. We dealt him to Red Sox and had a great career with Boston. Back at the top of the order now for the Orioles and representing the St. Louis Browns, George Sisler. Sisler a frustrated 0 for 3, batting with the bases jammed and 2 down. A great chance here if Sisler can catch up to this Wakefield floater. Sisler on the first pitch, routine grounder second, and not a problem. It's Pedroia to Ortiz once again. Baltimore leaves them jammed, and we go to the top of the 7th. It's the Red Sox 7 and the Baltimore Orioles 1. Be right back, guys. 1 second. All right. So Tippy Martinez, this is the 3rd pitcher for Baltimore. He's worked an inning and a third. He's neither walked nor struck out a batter. and he will face the number 4, 5, 6 hitters for the Boston Red Sox, David Ortiz, Jim Rice, and Carl Yastrzemski. So Big Papi today is 1 for 3 with a run batted in. Martinez peers in, has the sign from Rick Dempsey. Here is the wind and the 1-2 pitch to Ortiz. Ortiz tried to hold up. They appealed to third. He went around. So 1 away here in the Boston 7th for Jim Rice. Jim Rice has a hit in 3 attempts. Boston 7, 11, and 0, and Baltimore 1, 6, and 0. Tippy Martinez with the 1-2 delivery. That was Martinez's first strikeout, by the way. And let's make that 2 as Jim Rice cuts and misses on the hammer. So 2 away for the captain, Carl Yastrzemski. Infield hit for Yastrzemski. He's 1 for 3 in the game. Martinez with the 0-1 to the captain. Yastrzemski swings, and a floater out to center, and flying in on that is Paul Blair, showing that great range. So the Sox go in order, and 7th inning stretch time here at Camden Yards. It's the Boston Red Sox 7 and the Baltimore Orioles 1. Thanks for hanging out tonight, guys, and enjoying the game. This is game 1 of a twin bill. He says, I think the Japanese thing also turned me out too by the time he turned to 23. He was a mile deep into action, 22 and 23. Aaron Reed saying, let me hear ya. All right. So there you go, guys. You take away that, take away the widget up there, and you're looking for a nice ballpark for some of your other games, whether it's Digital Diamond or Action PC or whatever. What a nice looking Camden Yards. I love the texturing that they did in this old railroad warehouse out here beyond right field. Just beautiful. All right, bottom of the 7th, and time running out for Baltimore. Tim Wakefield will face Brian Roberts, Ken Williams, and Frank Robinson, the number 2, 3, 4 hitters. Brian Roberts, nothing for 3. Wakefield with a full count, the payoff pitch to Brian Roberts. And this curveball missing just a bit inside. Wakefield wanting the call, doesn't get it, and issues free pass number 5. And here's Ken Williams, and I just want to see Ken Williams just crank one. Wakefield checks the speedy Brian Roberts at first. Payoff pitch, and Williams lays off. So this one missing for ball 4, and that is the 6th walk by Tim Wakefield, and that knuckleball just floating a bit outside. Here is Frank Robinson, a chance for the Orioles to get a crooked number not only in the inning, but in the runs column. But Big Frank just 1 for 3. Brian Roberts at second. Ken Williams at first. Good speed on the base paths for the Baltimore Orioles. And we have a pitching change for the Boston Red Sox. So Tim Wakefield's day is done, and on to pitch Luis Tiant. So here's little Louie. Great stuff, great movement, decent control. Can get it to the low to mid 90s. Wrong lighter. The wind and the 0-2 from Tiant. Frank Robinson looks at a call, strike 3. So fastball 94 in the gun from Tiant, and that's 1 down. Runners hold, of course, and here is Eddie Murray. The power to do some damage here. Brooks Robinson waits on deck. Tiant into this wind in the 2-2 delivery. Eddie Murray swings, weak grounder to second, and they're going to turn 2. And the Baltimore Orioles are turned away. So the Orioles, with 2 base runners and a double play, erasing everyone. And we go to the top of the 8th. The Red Sox 7, the Orioles 1. These are not fun games to call, these blowouts. Tippy Martinez staying in, just soaking up innings for Baltimore. Dustin Pedroia, Carlton Fisk, and Jimmy Collins. Petey is 1 for 3 with a run batted in. Martinez with 3-1 delivery. Pedroia swings this one line to center, and this is going to get down for a base hit in front of Paul Blair. And part of the Boston onslaught back in the first inning were just a lot of base hits to center field. Legend Sports Universe, the man, the myth, the legend is here, truly. He says good evening to everyone. Agreed, blowouts, well, yep, Blow as an announcer. Absolutely, they suck. Yeah, that's, see, had I known, man, would have had Aaron Reed on here to do some color. But, yeah, blowouts, no fun at all. Extra inning games are fun as long as you're not knackered. All right, here's Pudge. Pedroia on first, nobody out, and Petey has some speed. Martinez with the check of the runner. He's whiffed 2 thus far. And Fisk will dump this into left for a base hit. So Boston now with 13 hits in that column to Baltimore 6. Just Baltimore just outplaying, or Boston just outplaying Baltimore. And here is Jimmy Collins. So Jimmy Collins, our one of 2 of our dead ball representatives in tonight's lineup. The other waiting on deck, Tris Speaker. Jimmy Collins 1 for 3 with a run batted in. Pedroia at second, Fisk at first, nobody out. The 1-0 delivery to Collins. Collins cuts on this one, little flare to right, chasing it toward the line. This is going to get down for a base hit. Jimmy Collins looks like he was going to have an RBI, but they hold Petey at third. And once again now, the Boston Red Sox have them loaded, and a hitter you don't want to see with the bases loaded is Tris Speaker. Nobody out. Speaker, however, the Baltimore pitching staff been able to keep the Gray Eagle quiet. He is nothing for 3. Baltimore knows that can't last long, but they got to get past him. But it doesn't get any easier. You've got Nomar Garciaparra and Ted Williams. Martinez trying to get a double play here or something. Here's the 2-1 to Speaker. Speaker swings, and this one slapped to left for a base hit. Speaker's going to pick up at least 1 run batted in. So coming home is Dustin Pedroia, and the carnage continues. It is now 8-1 Boston. A lot of Red Sox fans in this community should be happy with this game. I do know we have an Orioles fan, but he hasn't been here in a long time. A long, long time. I'm trying to remember the community member's name. It's been a while. So, anyhow, back to it here, and Nomar Garciaparra batting with the bases loaded. Ted Williams waits on deck. And now we see pitcher number 4 for the Baltimore Orioles. So Jim Johnson will come in relief. Ground ball pitcher. Good control, good movement, especially against righties. Bases jammed with Red Sox. Here's Johnson's delivery, the 1-0, nobody out. Garciaparra slaps this one to center, base hit, and Garciaparra will pick up the RBI, and this is just getting ridiculous now. So Carlton Fisk comes in to score. Bases remain loaded. Jimmy Collins at third, Tris Speaker at second, Nomar Garciaparra at first. And here we go, little surprise move, I guess, with a huge lead. Ted Williams out of the game, and Jacoby Ellsbury will get a little at bat here. So Johnson surrounded by Red Sox, and he's just going to have to just take one for the team. The 3-2 pitch, and Ellsbury lays off. Johnson walks one in. So Jimmy Collins trots home with run number 10. So Boston putting up 6 in the first, 1 in the 6th, and 3 here in the 8th. Still nobody out. Bases still loaded. And there is cousin Ken Castro. PQ Ribber excited. He's got some friends coming from Wales in 2 weeks. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. PQ River says he's living the good life. All right, here's Big Poppy. Are the Red Sox going to bat around again like they did in the first inning? This Baltimore pitching staff not getting it done, to say the least. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Ortiz, this one's just a little flare to left. Is it going to stay up long enough? And indeed it will. And here's the strong peg from third. And coming in to score is Tris Speaker. So Ken Williams with a good throw, but the good news for Baltimore is at least they've recorded it out. The bad news is that Jacoby Ellsbury with superb speed at first. And here's Jim Rice. It's an 11-1 lead. And we started having a blowout last night in our second game of our Twin Bill in Action PC. And thankfully, it ended in a rain out. Here, sky's clear. We're going to have to tough it out for the entire 9. All right. Jim Johnson from the stretch to Jim Rice. Jim Rice on the 1-2. Swings. Lofted to left. This is going to get right into the glove of Ken Williams. The throw home. And this one getting past Rick Dempsey and Garcia Parra scoring. Bad throw. And they're going to rightfully score that E7. So bad throw by Ken Williams. Should have had Garcia Parra. So 2 away, 5 runs in for the Red Sox. It's 12-1. Jim Johnson delivers the 0-1. Yastrzemski swings, hard hit ground ball to first. And finally, Eddie Murray getting out number 3. However, the Boston Red Sox put 5 more on the board. And this one is 12-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. I wish the score was opposite because we have to go to the bottom of the 9th. All right, so Vern Stevens. We've talked about Vern Stevens on this channel. He'll be coming in to pinch hit. Tiant will stay on in relief. He's worked an inning in relief with 1 strikeout. So Stevens making his first appearance in this young season. Little Louie with the 2-2. Stevens swings and misses, and Tiant rings him up. Strikeout number 2 for Little Louie, and here's Boog Powell. So Boog Powell coming off the bench. And again, this is a very powerful Baltimore lineup, and to have Boog Powell sitting on the bench. Powell in the season is nothing for 2. Wanting Sisler in there for his leadoff abilities, his speed, and obviously the better first baseman all around. Not to take anything away from Boog Powell, but Sisler in a whole different league. Tiant delivers the 2-2 to Boog Powell. Here it comes. Powell swings and misses. Fastball by Tiant, and that's strikeout number 3. And yet another pinch hitter. This is the 3rd one in the inning for the Baltimore Orioles, Jim Gentile. Gentile nothing for 2 in the season. Tiant sets and fires. Gentile swings in the first pitch. Base hit into right field. That's the 7th hit for Baltimore. But as the Bard would say, probably at least, much ado about nothing. Jim Gentile no speed at first, and Rick Dempsey nothing for 1 with an RBI. 2 down, a runner on in the bottom of the 8th. Here is the 1-2. Dempsey walked his last time up and whiffs. So Tiant just mowing him down. That's strikeout number 4. And we go to the 9th. It's the Boston Red Sox 12, the Baltimore Orioles 1. And let's see, what do we have here as far as defensive changes for the Baltimore Orioles? Baby Doll Jacobson will come into play center field, who got his nickname from a song back in the day. So we have another dead baller now out here. Jacobson and Vern Stevens, of course, St. Louis Browns players. And Vern Stevens will stay to play short. Marty McManus will play third. It's starting to look almost a little bit Ned McGreevy here now. Pedroia will start it off for Boston here in the ninth, followed by Carlton Fisk and Jimmy Collins. Johnson with a payoff pitch to Pedroia, who's 2 for 4. Pedroia cuts and misses, so Johnson picks up the K. Nice sinker, and here comes Jason Varitek. With a huge score like this, Varitek going to get in at bat here, making his first plate appearance in this season. Jim Johnson with a strikeout and a walk. The 1-2 pitch to Varitek. Varitek swings, comebacker, Johnson up with it, and he'll fire it right on to first to Eddie Murray for the out. 2 up, 2 down, and I made a mistake. Sisler in there at DH, so Eddie Murray starting at first. Mea culpa. And Bill Mueller. So Boston just letting everybody try to get on the hit parade. He is making his first plate appearance, so we'll see a bit of shuffling around for Boston when we head to the bottom of the ninth. And it will theoretically be George Sisler, Brian Roberts, and Ken Williams, the top 3 of the Baltimore order. Johnson with the 0-2 delivery to Mueller. And Mueller looks at a called strike 3. Dempsey framing that one nicely. So 3 up, 3 down, but a little bit too late. George Sisler will lead it off. Sisler, uncharacteristic for him. He is nothing for 4. Very slow start for Sisler in the season. Just 2 for 13. Tiant will stay on. Here is the wind in the delivery. Sisler swings, sends this one out to right field, and this should be a routine play, and indeed it is for Jim Rice. 1 up, 1 down. Let's see, do we have any? We do have in left field now, Dom DiMaggio in left. Mueller will play the hot corner for the Red Sox. And other than that, the line, and Jason Varitek in to catch now. 1 away, and here we go. Now we see another St. Louis Brown. So Red Kress making his first plate appearance. Average contact hitter. Tiant ready to deal to Kress. Kress swings, flare to left, coming in and over toward the line, and making the catch is Dom DiMaggio. 2 away, and the carnage should be over here. Here's Adam Jones. So 300,412 pinch hitters for the Baltimore Orioles. Tiant with a 3-1 pitch to Adam Jones. Jones lays off. So the changeup missing by Tiant, and here's Al Bumbry. Al Bumbry also making his first plate appearance. So I think for Baltimore we've seen, 8 or 9 pinch hitters. So runner aboard for Baltimore. They just want a crooked run, or crooked number in the runs column. Tiant delivers to Bumbry. Here's the 0-2, or with 2 outs in Bumbry. Mercifully grounds this one to second. And that is the end of the game as Pedroia goes to Ortiz. And it was a slaughter. The little banner up there says Boston clubs. Baltimore, I think, clubbing. The clubbing happened way back in the first. This was sad to see. Anyhow, there go the Red Sox trotting off the field. Let's look at our game recap. So Boston took on Baltimore in front of a lively crowd. The Red Sox handed the Baltimore Orioles a sound defeat, 12-1 at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Nomar Garciaparra was a main contributor to the win. He went 3 for 5 with a home run and 2 singles, while scoring 3 and driving in 2 for Boston. The Red Sox, now 3-0, have hit the ground running this season. Who knows how it might have ended had it not been Carlton Fisk. The Boston catcher had a bases-clearing double in the top of the first inning to get the Red Sox on top 5-0 for the game. Pudge had a double and 2 singles in 4 at-bats. And, geez, I don't know. Somebody can stop the broadcast at some point and count the pinch hitters. There's just a whole bunch. So the MVP is no more Garcia Parra. Uh, I'm going to award co-MVP though. I think also to Carlton Fisk because that bases clearing double was big. But really, let's face it, the Orioles never had a chance. So let's go ahead and leave the game, and we're going to look at standings in this young season, and then we're going to switch baseball games. So in the AL East, the Boston Red Sox and Tampa Bay tied for first at 3 wins, no losses. The Yankees a half game back at 2-0, and the Blue Jays and the Orioles an abysmal start. Each of those teams at 0-3 in the AL Central. It's the Cleveland Indians, and this is funny to see in out of the park baseball. 24. I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but they're actually being called the Cleveland Indians. In 23, they were the Guardians, but they're the Indians here. So maybe they bowed to some pressure, a lot of pressure from the community. I don't know, but anyhow, the Cleveland Indians 3-0. The Minnesota Twins just a game back or a half game back at 2-0. The Detroit Tigers 1.5 back, along with the Kansas City Royals, each team at 1 win, 1 loss. And the Chicago White Sox starting the season at 0-2. In the AL West, the Texas Rangers hold sole possession of first place. They're 3-0. A game back of them at 2-1. The Seattle Mariners. Looking forward to seeing a game with the Mariners. The LA Angels are 1-2, 2 games back, and bringing up the rear. The Houston Astros at 2.5 back at 0-2, and the Oakland Athletics at 0-3 and 3 games back. In the National League East, the New York Mets. This is a weak division here, by the way, at least thus far. The New York Mets, the Washington Nationals are tied for first, and they are 1-1. The Atlanta Braves are 1-2.5 game back. The Phillies 1.5 back, 0-3 along with the Miami Marlins. In the NL Central, the Pittsburgh Pirates with a half game lead, holding first place over Milwaukee. Pittsburgh is 2-0. The Brewers 2-1. The Cardinals and the Reds each 1 win and 1 loss, and the Cubs in last place 0-2. Finally, to the National League West, and it's the San Francisco Giants and the Colorado Rockies tied for first, each at 3 wins, no losses. LA is 4-1, so just percentage points really behind San Francisco and Colorado. The Padres at 1-2 and 2 games back, and with the worst one-loss record in this league thus far, the Arizona Diamondbacks at 0-5. And we'll go ahead and just finish today. And so now the Pirates getting up one on the Cardinals. They are now 3-0. Did the Diamondbacks win? Yes, they did. The Diamondbacks finally post their first win. All right, so that's it. We'll go ahead and save the game. And that does it for Out of the Park Baseball. Todd B says, wouldn't it be cool if someone came up with an actual virtual scoreboard, one of these games that you could program to show things, show each batter, etc. scores? Yeah, I mean, doesn't MLB The Show sort of do that? Ken Castro, Mike Mussina started for the Orioles and got rocked. He finally got the hook in the third. So good to see Todd B as the inspiration for the Howie Shanks League. We have 10 folks in here, hopefully. Guys, we're doing a reboot of the Howie Shanks League with streamlined draft rules. They're actually going to be easier for everybody. Really like you to consider, and if you would, we can get a Discord invite out to you. And we have our league constitution up there. Give it a read. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We're not requiring any sort of huge commitment beyond maybe being here, for draft night, picking your team colors, names, whatever else. And we're looking for this to be a lot of fun. So just let us know if you're interested. We'd love to have you. All right, let's save one more time because Allen Park's still a little bit, a little dodgy. Still a few crashes. And we'll go to Action PC Baseball now because we can. Why not? Okay, boom and boom. Again, we're holding off in the KCCL until Cousin Ken is back and can hang out a bit. So we've been playing with this state file in Action PC Baseball, which has been a lot of fun. This is a subset, one of the newest subsets of the Baseball History Collection. These players, I think this was done last year actually. These are players sorted onto teams by their state of birth, and been good. So we'll be revisiting this, but I think tonight, for giggles, thank you, Todd. He says, while you're here, please hit the like button. I think if there should be some interest. Let's go to Steve Tate's 5-year file, and geez, I don't even know which is the latest version of this, but we'll have fun. We just did an American League game, so let's do National League. And we'll let this load up. This is brilliant, brilliant work by Steve Tate. So for the one or two of you out there not familiar with this, what Steve did, this is not data. These are not data from Dave Cook Sports. What he's done is taken a 5-year slice of these franchises and all the stats, every single number you see, all these players rated by Steve using a ton of different resources, and he's taken it to the next level with the Negro League file that right now is on a brief hiatus. We will get there once Howie Shanks. I'm hoping once we get a third of the way in, we can start some Negro League action. I've been promising that since February, but we want Steve to take his time. Clinton Parks, we haven't seen him in a while. He says back for a while. He's been listening to Defective Records. And Steve Tate back again. MV, by the way, pulling a trigger on a PS5. I hope to do that this week so I can do some MLB The Show. Can't steal Legend Sports Universe's thunder anyhow. The guy's too good. I just want to get it because I am besotted. So let's pick 2 National League teams here and let's have some fun. I just got to make sure. I don't know. I haven't done anything with ballpark assignments. So there we know the Dodgers have a ballpark already assigned. That's good. Maybe yeah. How about a Phillies team? Let's do a Philadelphia Phillies team for Cousin Ken. Yeah, let's go to the vet. So the 1976 to 1980 Phillies, and I don't know who we want them to play yet. How about they play the New York Mets? Hopefully we won't have any doppelgangers. Take a quick look here. I don't think so. All right. So does that sound good to you guys? We're going to have the Phillies visit the New York Mets. Damn right, your 5-year franchise file. I don't want people to forget it. And we should be calling them files. So this is the National League version, guys. There's 90 some teams, I think, like 90 teams on each one. Pick it up. This is not meant to be played as a league in and of itself. Steve rather has made this as a kind of draft league, so pulling these teams over and stuff like that. And there's so much to do. Look at all these teams. My God, you can't go wrong here. This is just crazy, crazy stuff. All right, so it's going to be the Mets and the Phillies in an exhibition game. Let's do it. So let's look for Philadelphia, 1976 to 80, and the New York Mets, eventually. The New York Mets in 1969 to 1973. Should be a lot of fun playing at Shea Stadium. Let's do it. Mets home team, Phillies, managed by the computer. You forgot about these? Oh my God. Love these. I love these files, man. Oof. And so do many in the community. Guys, pick up Action PC Baseball. Buy something else from Dave Cook. I would say if you don't want to buy seasons for this game, buy the game. You get a couple seasons with it, I believe, and like baseball's all-time 20 great teams. Get that. Get the baseball history collection. Get Steve Tate's um, 5-year files for National League and American League, and also join the Howie Shanks League. I think you have a lot of fun. All right, so Steve Carlton will be taking the hill for the Philadelphia Phillies. We're going to let the computer line up, do the Mets, and looks like we're ready to go. Let's get to the ballpark, guys. All right, we got a barn burner here, I think, in the making, guys. Welcome to Shea Stadium. It's the Philadelphia Phillies, 1976 to 80, against the New York Mets, 1969 to 1973. It's going to be Steve Carlton versus Tom Seaver. 63 degrees at game time, and we have some rain here in Queens.
Play ball!
Pete Rose will lead it off, batting lefty against Tom Seaver. Let's look at Seaver's numbers in this 5 years franchise file. A 2.3 earned run average, 19 wins, 11 losses, 282 and 2/3 innings pitched, 72 walks, 286 strikeouts for Tom. Terrific. A whip of 1.012. Opponents managing just 210 against him. Pete Rose to lead it off. Rose playing first base here for the Philadelphia Phillies. Rose coming into this game with a 305 average. 41 doubles, 3 triples, 2 homers, 62 runs batted in, 92 scored, 16 steals. All right. So we're going to show a couple of these guys. I just wanted to say there's Duffy Dyer wearing his pirate livery. Tom Seaver winds and deals the 1-2 to Charlie Hustle. As we let the game do its thing. Rose, chopper to third. And up and across with it. Garrett on to Clendenin for out number 1. And here's Gary Maddox sporting looking very sort of, he looks more early 70s, doesn't he, than late 70s here. So Gary Maddox, a .310 hitter, 10 homers, 71 runs batted in. Seaver wheels and deals the 1-0 fastball to Maddox. Maddox sends this high to left, but Cleon Jones making a fine catch in left field. 2 up, 2 down for right fielder Jay Johnstone. 303 for Johnstone coming into this game. 10 home runs, 56 runs batted in. Tom Seaver sets and fires. 2-2 pitch to Johnstone, and Johnstone, big swing and a miss, and that ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the first. The Phillies nothing, and the Mets coming to bat. For Steve Carlton, a 2.92 earned run average, 21 wins, 10 losses, 277 2/3 innings worked, 90 walks, 250 strikeouts, a whip of 1.124, and opponents only faring just a little better against the lefty Carlton, 219. We'll look at the starting defense for the Phillies, and then we'll do that for the Mets when we get to the second. So for the Phillies, from left to right, there's big Greg Luzinski in left, Gary Maddox in center, Jay Johnstone in right. Around the horn from first to third, Pete Rose, Manny Trio, the hot-tempered Larry Boa, and of course at third base, need I even say the name? But of course I will, Michael Jack Schmidt. Catching today is Bob Boone, and pitching, of course, Steve Carlton. Cleon Jones will lead it off here. left fielder for the Mets, hitting a 308, 11 home runs, and 69 runs batted in. Carlton rubbing up the ball, ready to deal. Boone with the sign. Carlton with a 1-2. Cleon Jones, and this one smacked to left. Luzinski bobbling the ball, and Jones is going to go to second. Score that a single in E7. Luzinski having trouble with that scorcher. And the Reds with a runner in scoring position. Nobody out for third baseman Wayne Garrett. Garrett, 247 hitter. 9 home runs, 44 ribbies for him. Waiting on deck, Tommy Agee. Carlton peers over his left shoulder at Cleon Jones. Cleon Jones with 14 steals. Carlton brings it home. Garrett swinging on this fastball, line to center. Gary Maddox making the play. So 1 out. Jones is not going to try to run on Maddox. And it brings up Tommy Agee. Speedy Tommy Agee hitting 280. 25 home runs, 76 runs batted in. Jones into his lead at second, 1 away, no score, bottom of the first. The 0-2 to Agee, curveball, and Tommy Agee, strike 3 called. So Carlton dropping the hammer on Agee, 2 away here in the bottom of the first. And here's Don Clendenon. Clendenon, of course, you see the Pirates livery. Clendenon spending some time with the Bucks in the mid-60s. Clendenon comes into this game hitting 278 with 17 home runs and 67 runs batted in. So another rabbit hole for Steve to head down. Talking about the narrators. All right. And here is Steve Carlton to deal to Don Clendenon with 2 down. The 0-2, Clendenon, base hit, center field. Maddox up with it. Cleon Jones is rounding third, and he will score RBI single for Don Clendenon, and the Mets take an early 1-0 lead here in the first. Ron Swoboda, right fielder now, hitting just 234. 46 ribbies, managed 9 home runs. Clendenon at first. 2 away. Carlton checks the runner. The 3-0 to Swoboda. And this one up high. Carlton throwing a little bit of chin music there. 2 on for the Mets. 2 down for Bud Harrelson. 248 hitter. No homers. 37 runs batted in for Harrelson. Clendenon at second, Swoboda at first, 2 down, 1-0 Mets lead. Steve Carlton with the 0-2 fastball. And this one smacked all the way to the wall in right center, coming around to score. Swoboda scores. Clendenon scores. 2 RBI, triple by Bud Harrelson. And the Metropolitans with a 3-0 lead here in the first. RJL Network must be sensing that the Mets are raising some hell here. Welcome in Robert. He says something about 420 makes me think about a certain movie. He says, watching Yellow Submarine while sober. Good film. Watching Yellow Submarine stoned and high out of your mind. Best movie ever. Robert, sorry I've been missing your broadcasts. I'm doing a tough 6-day stretch at work, man. So hopefully all's going well. I'm sad to see my Buccos are out of the 1988. But, you know, I'm glad it was the Expos. Glad to see the Expos doing it, if anybody had to beat my Buccos. And the Expos did it well, by the way. All right, Duffy Dyer batting with 2 down, 3 in for the Mets here in the bottom of the first. Robert, we're using Steve Tate's 5-year franchise files. This is a National League version of it. If you have an Action PC, Robert, you should get these files. They're brilliant. 90-plus teams for the National League, 90-plus teams for the American League based on 5 years of a franchise. And it's amazing, and Steve says he's not done with it yet. But busy with the reboot of the Howie Shanks Baseball League to start the draft. It'll be next Tuesday night. We expect the draft to go 3 hours, and we should be able to get it all done. All right, anyhow, Duffy Dyer, 231 hitter, 5 homers, 27 ribbies. Harrelson at third with that big triple. Carlton deals. Dyer swings, fly ball to left. Luzinski this time has it in his glove. 3 runs, 3 hits, 1 errors. We played 1. And it's the New York Mets 1969 to 73-3 and the 19 Philadelphia Phillies 1976 to 80 nothing. Greg Luzinski will lead it off, followed by Mike Schmidt. Bob Boone. Luzinski, 287 hitter, 37 home runs, 116 runs batted in. Seaver versus Carlton. I don't think he gets much better than that. Tom Terrific deals the 2-1. Luzinski tags this one. High fly ball to left, back, and on the track. Cleon Jones making the running catch. 1 away here in the Philadelphia second for the greatest third baseman in baseball history, Mike Schmidt. Schmidt, a 270 hitter, 46 dingers, 118 batted in. Schmidt even has 10 stolen bases to his credit. Seaver winds and fires the 3-1 to Schmidt. Fastball missing, and Schmidt will draw the walk. So Seaver issuing his first free pass, and so this one up at eye level. So Carlton doing a little bit of sort of proximity headhunting, and so is Seaver. So Schmidt aboard, 1 away for catcher Bob Boone. He has a 283 batting average, 12 dingers, 64 ribbies for him. Seaver checks Schmidt at first. Clendenin holding him close, 1 away. Seaver brings the 0-1 to Boone. Fastball, this one chopped to short. Harrelson, and they're going to get Schmidt at second. Harrelson to Weiss, but Weiss not making the pivot. Boone aboard in the fielder's choice, and 2 away for Larry Boa, who has a temper that's, I don't know. What can we say about Larry Boa's temper without too many superlatives? It was certainly bad. Anyhow, Boa, the feisty shortstop for these Philadelphia Phillies. The fight Phil's 288, average 4 homers, 42 runs batted in for him. Boone at first, no speed, really. Seaver deals. Boa swings in the first pitch, golfs this one to Harrelson at short, and do we want to make risky play? Out chance 11%. No, we're not going to. So Boone at second, Boa at first for Manny Trio, second baseman at 279 average. Trio wearing his Cubs livery. I need to update my photos in these this monstrous thing someday. 6 homers, 46 runs batted in. All right, Trio, a little wiggle of the bat there as I find my mouse. Dyer sets. Seaver deals the 1-0 to Trio. Little changeup, routine fly ball to left. Coming in on it is Cleon Jones to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the second inning. It's the Mets 3 and the Phillies nothing. And I said Walt Weiss. No, I just said Weiss. So Al Weiss. Didn't want to mess up there. Al Weiss hitting 212. Tom Seaver waits on deck. Yes, I turned off the DH. Steve, in your National League file, left it on in American League. It's got to be some damn tradition somewhere. So Al Weiss hitting 212. 2 home runs, 17 ribbies. But I get where Steve's coming from, that you get to see a couple extra hitters in these great teams. And again, I've just been playing exhibition games in this, and it's just been absolutely a blast. Carlton winds and fires the 0-2 to Weiss. Fastball by Steve Carlton, and a big swing and a miss. And that is 1 down. Second strikeout for the southpaw. And here's Tom Seaver. 191 as a pitcher, as a hitter. Home run, 8 ribbies for Tom Terrific. Carlton deals to his mound opponent 0-2. Seaver didn't have a chance. This one on the inside corner. Strikeout number 3 for Steve Carlton. 2 down here in the bottom of the second. And we're back at the top of the order for the Metropolitans and Cleon Jones, who singled to left and advanced to second on the Greg Luzinski error in left. Steve Carlton wheels and deals the 0-2, and Cleon Jones. Striking out the side is Steve Carlton, and that's strikeout number 4. And we head to the visitors' half of the third here in Queens. at Shea Stadium, the site of a rather groundbreaking concert in 1964, promoted by Sid Bernstein. By the way, Robert, that does count, by the way, your Yellow Submarine reference. Aaron Reed says, puff, puff, pass. Steve Carlton, Pete Rose, and Gary Maddox for the squad from the city of brotherly love, Cousin Ken Castro's favorite modern Major League Baseball team. Carlton, a little bit of a better hitting pitcher than Tom Seaver in this file, at least, a 204 average with 8 runs batted in. Seaver winds and fires the 1-2. Carlton smacks this curve to Al Weiss. Al Weiss quickly on to Don Clendenin for the 4-3 putout. One away here in the top of the third inning. And Charlie Hustle will come up here now. See Rose with that kind of infamous gap in his teeth there. Wondering if he looks at all like Sleepy Bill Burns or Sports Sullivan, or doesn't look really like Arnold Rothstein. All right, enough of picking on Pete Rose for now. Rose 0-for-1, grounded to short. A great, great player, let's face it. Come on. Tom Seaver deals the 1-1, and Rose sends this one to left, but this is going to stay up for Jones, so 1 out, or 2 down here. So Rose getting under it, not enough forward. Gary Maddox, center fielder for these Phils, gave it a ride to deep left center back in the first. Tom Seaver pitching with 2 out. The 1-0 curve, Maddox, chopper up the middle, and Al Weiss in one fluid motion fires it on to Don Clendenin for the 4-3 putout to retire the Phillies. We go to the bottom of the third, and it's still the Mets 3 and the Phillies nothing. Clinton Park says Terry Thomas and those magnificent men in their flying machines. So, folks greeting Clinton Parks. He says, so Steve, in past life was one of those who cheered the Lions over the Christians in the Colosseums. In the Coliseum, referring to the designated hitter rule. All right, here is Wayne Garrett, 0-for-1. He'll start at the Mets third here. It'll be followed by Tommy Agee and Don Clendenin. Garrett 0-for-1. His last time up, he lied to center. Steve, this is such a great file. I've said it a billion times, but I love it. Too bad we couldn't have figured out a way to do Howie Shanks from this one, but there's with the doppelgangers in here. But we might have to think about it, Steve. Can't let it go to waste. We got to do some sort of draft from here. The southpaw Carlton peers in. Carlton in the game has whiffed 4, walked 1. Carlton delivers. Payoff pitch, and strike 3 called. So Carlton picking up strikeout number 5, but finding himself down 3 runs. Tom Seaver working on a 1-hit shutout. And here's Tommy Agee. He struck out against Carlton back in the first. Carlton deals the 1-1. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm sorry, that was the 1-2 pitch. And that's K number 6. So Steve Carlton just bringing it. Another fastball. And here's Don Clendenin to give it a go. RBI single scoring Cleon Jones back in the first, giving the Mets their first run. Steve Carlton fires it in. Payoff pitch to Don Clendenin. Changeup, and this one, Boone drops the ball but fires it on to retire Clendenin for out number 3. We go to the fourth. The score remains New York Mets 3, the Philadelphia Phillies nothing. Robert saying, Tom, terrific. Only 2 pitchers in baseball history have over 300 wins, over 3,000 strikeouts, and a career ERA under 3.00. Walter Johnson and Tom Seaver. And I would say that that's great company there. Thank you for that. Thank you for that great fact there, Robert. Really, really appreciate it. All right, Jay Johnstone will lead it off for the Phils, followed by Greg Luzinski and Mike Schmidt here in the top of the fourth. Phillies trying to solve Seaver to no avail. A one-hitter thus far for Tom Terrific, and he struck, and Johnstone striking out against Seaver. Seaver sets and deals the 2-0. Fastball, Johnstone, chopper up the middle. Weiss making a nice play, ranging to his right. Fires on to Clendenin at first for the 4-3 putout. And that's one down for Greg Luzinski. The big left fielder flied to deep left center back in the second. The only error in this game committed by Luzinski. Seaver deals. Count even on Luzinski. And Luzinski, strike 3 called, so Tom Seaver dropping a little curveball action on the Phillies left fielder. 2 away for Mike Schmidt. Schmidt walked back in the second. We'll see what Seaver tries to do here with him. The 0-2, he's coming at Schmidt, and Schmidt, big swing and a miss. So power versus power, and that does it for Philadelphia in the fourth. We go to the home half, and it's the Mets 3, the Phillies nothing. Tom Seaver is indeed one of the greatest of all times. And I'm not taking anything away from Tom Seaver. To me, the greatest pitcher of all time is Walter Johnson. But yes, to mention Tom Seaver in the same breath as Walter Johnson is not a problem for me whatsoever, my friend. Ken says he needs a new e-reader. What do you guys like? I don't use e-reader, so leave that out to the chat, guys. Maybe you have some suggestions for Cousin Ken. All right, Ron Svoboda leads it off here for the Mets. He walked back in the first. Steve Carlton has hung up 6 Ks. He's issued just 1 free pass. Carlton with the 1-2 delivery. Fastball, Svoboda. That is the 7th straight strikeout for Steve Carlton. So he picks up number 8. Svoboda will grab some pine. One down here in the bottom of the fourth for Bud Harrelson. So he had a triple to right center, scoring Don Clendenin and Ron Svoboda back in the first. So all the Mets scoring coming in the first. Seaver still with that one hitter, but Carlton just bringing it. He wheels and deals the 0-1 to Bud Harrelson. Fastball, fly ball down the line, and right Johnstone toward the line, making the running catch. 2 down here for the Mets, and Duffy Dyer fly to left back in the first. Weiss waiting on deck. Carlton winds the 1-2. Fastball, this one chopped to second. Schmidt bobbling the ball. Mike Schmidt committing the error, and it's an E5. That's the second error for the Phillies in this game, and both happening on the left-hand side. Schmidt and Luzinski. So Duffy Dyer on with 2 away. And here's Al Weiss. He struck out back in the second. Quite the do there, by the way, on Mr. Weiss. Dyer at first. Carlton with the 0-2 to Weiss. Here it comes, fastball. Weiss lines it right to Manny Trio. Nice play by Trio to spear that one. And that does it. We've played 4 here at Shea Stadium. It's the Mets 3, the Phillies nothing. Robert chiming in with Sparky Anderson once said, my idea of managing is giving the ball to Tom Seaver and sitting down and watching him work. Great quote. P.Q. Rivers says even his stepdad, who used to be pretty harsh on me for smoking smokes now. It's funny. All right. P.Q. River, first year in 35 years, he's skipping 420, but by all means enjoy. He's such a rebel now that everyone's smoking. He decided to see what it's like to stop. So that's kind of what I do, right? You guys know I'm a rock musician. I have long hair and all that, but since it's expected that rock musicians with long hair have tons of piercings and tattoos, I have neither. I have neither ink nor piercings. Nothing against them. I'm just doing it because, or not doing those things because it's expected. And that's a nice image of Shea Stadium here. I really like this picture of Shea. I love the outfield grass, the New York skyline, and I guess Robert would know better that Do they do this in Citi Field, Robert? Is that outfield still done in New York Skyline? Robert, a huge Mets fan here. PQ Ribber agreeing with me. He say he has no ink. Good man. They don't. Ah, okay. I like that touch. I think that is so cool. I love that. I love that that outfield grass and Shea. All right, Bob Boone grounded to short the last time up. Tom Seaver still with this one hitter as we are in inning number 5. Here's the delivery for Tom Terrific. 2-2 pitch, high fly ball. Tommy Agee had him played perfectly. 1 up, 1 down. Seaver not doing it on strikeouts. He has 3 Ks and a walk, but pitching him where they need be for his defense to do the work. Here's shortstop Larry Boa. He has managed the only hit against Seaver, and that was an infield single back in the second. Dyer sets, Seaver delivers the 1-2 to Boa, and just as I talk about Seaver not doing it with strikeouts, he Ks Boa, so nice fastball there. 95 on the gun from Seaver. Seaver's telling Carlton, I can do it too, pal. 2 away for second baseman Manny Trio. Fly to shallow left center back in the second. Seaver brings the 1-2, and Manny Trio strikes out. So big swing and a miss. Seaver picks up strikeout number 5. Here we go. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and Carlton has kept these Mets quiet since the first, at least. And Tom Terrific will lead it off. Seaver struck out against Carlton. Carlton with 7 strikeouts, or 8 strikeouts, 7 of them in a row. Here's the lefty with the 2-2 to Seaver. Fastball, make that strikeout number 9. So that's a called strike 3. Seaver guessing and not quite correctly. Back at the top of the order now for the Metropolitans and Cleon Jones. I know Big Clue's a bit of a Mets fan, I believe, too. So Ken says he's feeling better. Yep, I see. I can see that. All right, here we go. Leave it to Cousin Ken. The degeneration starts of the chat, of the broadcast here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cousin Ken feeling better. Getting there, getting there. All right, cuz. Keep it going. All right, so Cleon Jones, 1 for 2. Steve Carlton deals the 0-2 delivery. And Jones, base hit into left field. So Carlton giving up hit number 4 to the Mets. And Cleon Jones aboard. 14 steals for him. Wayne Garrett, nothing for 2. He's lined to center and struck out. Bats from the left side. Tommy Agee waits on deck, 1 away here. Here's the 0-1 curveball from Carlton. Bounce to third. Schmidt's going to go to first. It's going to be close. And Garrett is out by a half step. Cleon Jones in scoring position here for the Metropolitans. Tommy Agee is nothing in 2 attempts at Steve Carlton, and he has struck out twice against the lefty. Carlton looking for strikeout number 10. Peers over his left shoulder. Cleon Jones has the sign from Bob Boone. The wind and the 3-1 ain't coming this time. And Carlton issuing his 2nd walk of the season. So the Mets with 2 aboard. Cleon Jones at 2nd, Agee at 1st. And here comes Don Clendenin, the first baseman, with an RBI single, scoring Cleon Jones back in the 1st. And then struck out in the 3rd. Carlton toes the rubber, the 0-1 curveball. Clendenin sends this one deep to left, but Luzinski, short of the track, will make the catch. So the Mets are turned away. We go to the 6th, and it's still the Mets 3 and the Phillies 1. Seaver still has the 1-hitter going. Looking strong out there. 5 strikeouts for Seaver, 9 for Carlton. As Steve Carlton will lead it off here, grounded to 2nd, back in the 3rd. Seaver into his motion at the 0-2, and that will be strikeout number 6 for Seaver. Carlton will sit down, and we head back to the top of the order for Pete Rose. Pete Rose is nothing for two. He is grounded to third, fly to left. Again, want to remind anybody who would like to get into the reboot of the Howie Shanks League. Let some folks know. We'll get you in. It's going to be different, better. We worked out the mistakes. And actually, Steve finding a couple more things today. And was wondering why Hannes Wagner didn't do so well. It's because the computer kept starting Dick Groat over Hannes Wagner, if you can imagine that. Rose nothing for two against Seaver. He's grounded to third and fly to left. Here is Seaver's 1-0 delivery, fly ball. This should be routine for Tommy Agee, ranging to his right. He'll make the catch in center field for out number 2. It has been a while, Cousin Ken, since you started the downward slide in the channel. Robert RGL Network, again a channel you should be subscribed to, gents. He's winding down 1998, and then apparently I guess no baseball till July, and I know his regulars in there are none too happy about that. But he says when Steve Carlton and I die, we're going to be buried in the same cemetery 60 feet 6 inches apart. That quote by Tim McCarver. That's a nice one. Long-time battery mates, Carlton and Tim McCarver. Gary Maddox bats with 2 down here in the top of the 6th. 3-0 Mets lead over the Phillies. Maddox fly to deep center and grounded to second. Seaver rubs up the ball, has the sign from Dyer. Here is the delivery. Maddox, first pitch swinging, sends his curveball to left. Cleon Jones back at the track, makes the catch, and once again, the Phillies are turned away. Seaver and the one-hitter continue. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 3-0. Ron Swoboda will lead it off here, followed by Bud Harrelson and Duffy Dwyer. So Swoboda struck out back in the 4th. Steve Carlton looking for his 10th strikeout. Here's the 1-2 delivery. Curveball, and there it is. Strikeout number 10. Down goes Ron Swoboda, and a big swing and a miss. Carlton dropping the hammer, so 10 strikeouts for him. And this is tough for a pitcher, right? He's whiffed 10 and he's down 3. That's got to hurt. All right, so here's Bud Harrelson, RBI triple in the 1st. Carlton, full count to Harrelson, and Harrelson lays off. This one just a bit inside. Carlton winning the call, not getting it. And Harrelson is aboard with speed, 26 steals. Duffy Dyer, nothing in 2 attempts against Carlton. Carlton checks the speedy Harrelson at first, throws over. Harrelson gets in under the tag. So Rose with a quick swipe, but Harrelson dusts himself off and he's safe at first. He's into his lead again. Carlton with the 1-0 to Dyer. Dyer swings, choppy ground ball to short. Larry Boa making a great stop. Boa to Trio to Rose for the inning-ending double play. So this time the defense getting it done for Steve Carlton. We head to inning number 7. The score still the Mets 3 and the Phillies nothing. Jay Johnstone will lead it off. Greg Luzinski and Mike Schmidt, the heart of this Phillies order. The right fielder Johnstone, nothing for 2. There's only been 1 hit, and that was, I believe I said, Larry Boa. Seaver deals the 1-1 to Johnstone. Johnstone chopper to second. This is going to be a tough play for Weiss, but takes it on a short hop to retire Johnstone for out number 1. Good play by Al Weiss there at second on the 4-3 putout. Here's Luzinski now. Greg has fly to deep center and struck out. Tom Terrific into his motion. The 2-2. Luzinski swing and a miss. And Tom Seaver picking up strikeout number 7. 17 strikeouts between these two great pitchers. Can Mike Schmidt break the Tom Seaver spell of batting with 2 down? Schmidt has walked and struck out. So at least Schmidt getting on base against Tom Seaver. Here's Seaver's 0-2 to Mike Schmidt. Fastball, and that's strikeout number 8. We go to the middle of the 7th inning. The Mets 3, the Phillies nothing. Little pitcher's duel going on here, gents. Thank you guys for hanging in tonight for this twin bill. Game 1, out of the park baseball 24. And the Boston Red Sox absolutely humiliating, murdering, mangling the Baltimore Orioles 12-1. And in this game, we have a nice little pitcher's duel going. So Steve Carlton here will face Al Weiss, Tom Seaver, and then Cleon Jones. Steve Carlton, the line on him in this game, 6 innings pitched thus far, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts. Righty's hitting just 184 against Steve Carlton, by the way. Carlton winds and fires, 1-2 fastball, and Weiss gets a base hit off Steve Carlton. Hit number 5 for the Mets, and Weiss aboard. Infield, in at the corners, looking bunt from Seaver. Carlton throws over, and Weiss back safely. Carlton brings it home. Here's the 0-2 to Seaver. Seaver not getting it done. Oh, and the boos going up all over the place. That was a called strike 3. And the New York Mets faithful not happy at all with the man in blue. So 1 away, and we go back to the top of the order. Cleon Jones seeing Carlton very well today. 2 for 3 in the game. 2 singles for him. But also struck out once against Carlton. Carlton checks Weiss at first. The 0-2 to Cleon Jones. Fastball. Hang up K number 12 for Steve Carlton. This one painting the outside corner. Carlton picking it up on that fastball. Beautiful pitch. Wayne Garrett now is going to have a go. Also a strikeout victim. So number 12 for Steve Carlton. Lefty Garrett stands in, digging in the box. Look at determination on Garrett's face. Carlton with the 2-0. Weiss was moving on the pitch. This one lined to center, and Gary Maddox making a great play. And side retired. We go to the 8th inning. And Tom Seaver looking absolutely beyond formidable out there on the bump. 1-hit shutout continues. Bob Boone, Larry Boa, and Manny Trio. Let's see. Now we're just going to check who struck out in this game. Seaver, by the way, let's look at his line. So 7 innings of work thus far, 1 hit, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. That's it. Seaver deals to Boone, the 1-2. Boone chopping ground ball to Harrelson. Harrelson takes it on a nice room service bounce. On to Don Clendenin for the 6-3 putout. 1 up, 1 down here for Larry Boa. Again, Boa, the owner of the only hit against Tom Seaver, and that was a single in the infield way back in the 2nd inning. Seaver deals. Here's the 1-0 to Boa. Fastball, sky to center field. Tommy Agee drawing a beat on it and making the catch. 2 up, 2 down here for the Phillies. And Manny Trio struck out against Seaver back in the 5th. Tom Terrific's 1-0 delivery. Fastball, and this one I didn't even have time to call it. Trio tagged this one with a purpose. 392-foot shot. And no time to call that one. It was just gone, gone, gone. Let's watch that boomer again. Kabam! And oof. So the shutout is over. Seaver touched up here in the 8th for a solo shot by Manny Trio. 3-1 now. And here is Steve Carlton. Seaver, do we want to bring in Del Unser to pinch hit? Absolutely. So Del Unser will be pinch hitting for the Philadelphia Phillies. Unser's line to 286 average, 3 home runs, 20 runs batted in. Bud Light drinkers. I don't know, but your humble announcer's a Guinness drinker. I don't know who the hell drinks Bud Light. And I know there's some politicking about that, but just Bud Light is just shite beer. It's just shite. You might as well just drink water as drink Bud Light, politics aside. All right, Unser to face Seaver. Seaver rubs up the ball, has the sign from Duffy Dyer, the 3-0. Unser lays off and draws the walk. So Seaver with a homer, now a walk to Del Unser. See if there'll be any movement in the New York bullpen as we're back at the top of the order for Philadelphia and Pete Rose. Pete Rose, 0-for-3 against Tom Seaver. Seaver checks the runner in first. 1-2 pitch to Pete Rose. Curveball, Rose. Shallow fly ball to center. Tommy Agee running in and making a nice catch. And looks like we're going to have a new pitcher for Philadelphia. And it's going to be Warren Brustar. The line on him, a 2.48 earned run average, 6 wins, 2 losses, 2 saves. He worked 80 innings for this Phillies squad, 27 walks, 53 strikeouts. As Cousin Ken says that Clinton has proved his worthiness for continuing the downward spiral of the broadcast. Very nice. Tommy Agee is 0-for-2, struck out twice and walked. Brustar finished with his warm-up pitches. He's ready to deal the 2-1 to Tommy Agee. Agee swings, hard hit ground ball to first, but Pete Rose waving off Brustar, and that will be out number 1 here in the bottom of the 8th. When we head to the 9th, the Phillies will be sending up Gary Maddox, Jay Johnstone, and Greg Luzinski. Don Clendenon 1-for-3 on the day. Brustar wheels and deals the 1-2, and Brustar picks up a strikeout. So 2 down here in the Mets 8th, and Ron Swoboda 0-for-2. 2 strikeouts, and he has a walk. Harrelson waits on deck. Brustar deals the 0-2. And we have a hit batsman. Oh, and the boos all over. So this one loud from Queens, and they're hearing it way up in the Bronx. So Swoboda aboard thanks to the hit batsman. And here is Bud Harrelson. That big triple back in the first, scoring Clendenon and Swoboda. So that's going to be your game-winning RBI right there, I think. 1-2 delivery to Harrelson. Harrelson swings, bounding ground ball, and Rose will just step on the bag rather nonchalantly. We go to the 9th. Tom Seaver looking to hold on to this 3-1 lead, and he will face Gary Maddox, Jay Johnstone, and Greg Luzinski. So thanks, guys, for coming in tonight. As Ken Castro says, let's go Phillies. Cousin Clinton Park says, amateurs, cousin. We deal with amateurs. Good bench jockeying has been wasted by youth. Well, isn't that the saying, Clinton, that youth is wasted on the young? Maddox, 0-for-3 against Tom Terrific. Here is the 1-1. And Maddox, ground ball to first. Clendenon has it for out number 1. Seaver working quickly. Dyer with the sign, dealing to Jay Johnstone. The 1-1 to Johnstone. Fastball swung on, bounced to third. Garrett up with it across the diamond to Clendenon. And the Phillies down to their last out, and it's Greg Luzinski. Seaver looking for the complete game win. Full count to Luzinski, and that's it. Called strike 3, and the New York Mets beat the Philadelphia Phillies 3-1. Let's look at our little recap for the New York Mets of 1969 to 1973. 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors. For the Philadelphia Phillies, 1976 to 1980, 1 run, 2 hits, 2 errors. Let's look at it. So home runs, 1 in this game by Manny Trio, accounting for the only Phillies run. Big triple. We had a triple by Bud Harrelson, and it was a big one. All right, let's go on to pitching really quickly. Steve Carlson takes the loss. He went 7, 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned. Walked 3, struck out 12. Warren Brewstar came in, worked an inning in relief, and struck out 1. Tom Seaver gets the win. 9 complete, 2 hits, 1 earned run. That Manny Trio solo shot, walked 2, struck out 9. What a great game this one was. And there you go. Mets take it 3-1. Oh, that's right, not available during the game. And neither are MVPs in exhibition. So there we go. Look at that glorious pile of teams going all the way back to, the 1901 to 1905 Bucks, the 1906 to 1910 Cubbies. The Bucks well represented here. We've got Brooklyn from 1889 to 1903, all the way up to those of you with more modern tastes. Um, there's the 99 to 2003 Atlanta Braves. And again, this is just the National League file. Good to see the Bucks in there, 58 to 62. A lot of St. Louis teams, as you would expect as well. You really should get this file, guys. Good stuff. Thank you, Robert. He says, great call. Thank you, my friend. Good to have you in here tonight. And Cousin Ken says, good stuff. I'm glad you're getting better. Ken, take your time, one day at a time. And again, we just want to, for everybody, Aaron, his dog crossed the Rainbow Bridge today, so certainly our thoughts go out to you, a good friend. Todd B, how did it go with the doctors? Man, Todd B had to go to the knee doctor today. Hopefully, things are all right with you, Todd. We will definitely, Aaron, as I've said. That's why I bought you the game yesterday. I'm glad you're having fun with it. I am just, I got 5 more days in the 6-run stretch, and then have some time to hang out. For tonight, I'm jumping off early and gonna watch a little bit of the Ken Burns Civil War documentary. The part of it now that's devoted to the Battle of Antietam. All right, guys. So my heartfelt thanks to Aaron Reed, Ken Castro, RJL Network, Robert himself, and so good the cousin is in here tonight. To the redoubtable professor himself, Clinton Parks, Todd B, PQ Ribber, and I know that Steve Tate was in here for a bit of time. Todd B as well. Did MV make it in? Yep, there he is, PQ Ribber. He's saying hi to PQ Ribber. Legend Sports Universe gracing us with his presence. Another great channel that you guys really need to subscribe to. There are just too few subscribers in that excellent channel. Bernard Strom. In fact, I might even check a game out of Bernard's. He's just started streaming back on 15 April. So welcome him into the content creating community. Please subscribe to his channel as well. My paisan, Pib99, D. Scott Howard, my dear friend from the Pacific Northwest. And we got everybody. And that's it. And we'll see ya for some baseball. As Clinton Parks will finish it off with saying, he's setting up Digital Diamond Baseball, just waiting for the final surprise, the ability to edit Status Pro cards. I can only imagine with Clinton Parks being able to edit Status Pro baseball cards, it's going to be the cards and dice version of Steve Tate and what he does. So hopefully that is going to be a thing. And last thing is, I guess we're not going to get, or the next to last thing, I have not heard from Richard Dombrov. I don't know what's going on there. I need to check the forums. I have not heard from him. I wanted to do a head-to-head with Dombrov Baseball and Digital Diamond, as the two are closely related. And what they do is they bridge that gap between dice chucking and digital ducking, as it were. And then the last thing, guys, I hope all of you who weren't in it before, were in it, will come back. Next Tuesday evening will be the draft for Howie Shanks Baseball League 2.0. All new draft pool, streamlined draft rules. Steve, Big Clue, and myself will be kind of I guess, running the league. We do have the Constitution up on the Discord. If you'd like an invite, let us know, and we'll get that invite to you. And hopefully, you'll join the league. It's not going to require a lot of commitment on your part, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. We have some folks coming in from other communities that we'll be following, which is nice to know from the Action PC forums at least, and going to get this posted to Adel Park Baseball. Anyhow, guys, thank you, and see you round the batting cage. And Robert doing a game tomorrow night, I'm assuming. So hope to catch that when I get home from work, and then we'll be on for some baseball. See you guys. Oh, so Ken says cousin he's not going to be joining this time out. Like he said before, once you get back to cards and dice. Hopefully you'll just show up anyhow, Ken, as far as just to watch some games and everything. But thanks for letting us know, so that way we're trying to get a sense of how many managers we have as we close in on next Tuesday. All right. Thanks, guys, and again, see you around the batting cage. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Good night.